What I know it sounds weird, but just try it. Thing do you swear by? If you are very anxious or having a panic attack, go to the bathroom and put some cold water on the back of your neck or face. If you're at home, you can also use an ice roller or some ice cubes. It's something I learned from DBT therapy and I thought it seemed ridiculous until I tried it. My cardiologist told me washing your hands in cold water, or just drinking cold water will also help. Going upstairs on all fours. It feels natural. I always said the same thing. When I was a kid, I'd have my parents time me against the dog. That's kinda cute. When I was a kid, I threw my neighbor's dog a ball and had her drag me across the ground by the leash. It was one of those harnesses that wasn't attached to her neck. I'm 37, and I'll still lope up the stairs on all fours if it's in my own home. Not so much in public. Only do it on the big staircase up the hill in the park, only when lots of people are around. I'm older than you. Like embarrassing my family. Now try doing that going down and realize why dogs hesitate on going downstairs. Just turn backwards to go down on all fours. That's how babies do it and it works fine for them. This comment just brought back some very fond memories of conversations with my mom. According to her, I was a climber, so she didn't trust the baby gate. She taught me to back down the stairs at an early age as a result. It always seemed like a point of pride for her, which entertains me since it seems like I was determined to put myself in harm's way as a child. Clearly her intervention worked. Love you, Mom, for looking out. Beast mode engaged. Well, you just brought back a memory of me doing this in school as a new student and immediately making myself the weird one in class. Close one eye while doing word search puzzles. I forget which one works, but you find words like 10 times faster. Also, the cross-eyed thing in the ones where you find differences between pictures. Flipping it upside down works too. Yes, 200% of the cross-eyed thing. Karaoke is a free practice and very low-effort way to improve public speaking skills. Sounds dumb as heck, actually works, costs almost zero. I'm doing quite okay in speaking English. Many of my friends/relatives cringe when I say that I practiced a lot by signing at home, or trying to mimic Twitch streams or YouTube videos. I think they understand how it helps, but looking in their eyes I felt they'll never do it. I know the reason I'm fluent in English now is because I watched and sang along to a ton of ERB videos when I was in high school. Herb is in epic rap battles? Take the time to thank yourself for doing what you promised to yourself. For example, if you plan to go to the gym, walk the dog, or do chores later that day and you actually do them, then thank yourself for keeping your promise. You wanted and planned to do something boring, hard, repetitive, whatever, because you know it's good for you and you stuck to it. Be proud. Be nice. Basically do whatever the opposite is of beating yourself up after you planned a task and didn't do it. I do this, but I also do it whenever I do something for my future self. For example, I decide to leave a few coins in my handbag instead of putting it into my wallet, and I think, here you go, future apéro who forgot your wallet. Thank me later. Then, when the moment inevitably comes that those coins come in handy, I think to myself, damn, good thinking, past apéro, thanks. Whenever I don't want to do something, usually a chore, I tell myself that future me will thank me. And I do. Honestly, it's the closest thing we have to time travel, smiley face. My favorite yoga teacher often closes the practice by asking you to thank yourself for making the time to do this for yourself. That sounds like exactly the opposite of the constant barracking I give myself for not doing things. I'll give this a go. Ta. Mud baths. You lie in this tub full of hot, thick, volcanic sludge. You gotta scoop a bunch of it onto your chest too. It's heavy. It's hot. People bring you cold washcloths for your forehead so you don't overheat. When I got out to take a shower, they had a bench in there. I laughed. Until my legs gave out because they weren't used to being so relaxed. 15/10. 35 stars. Oh, you mud? Only after my morning pruny. I've taken mud in Baden-Baden. You just got lit up. How long do you soak in the mud? I honestly don't remember. I want to say about 30 minutes, but it might be an hour. Sounds awesome. I gotta find a Mud bathhouse? Spa, I guess. Why go out for fancy mud, when we have mud at home? Today, I learned Louis Litt uses Reddit. Oh my god, yes. When I got out I almost couldn't walk, but it felt so damn good and it helped me relax during a hard time. This sounds like an incredible relaxing moment, until I start wondering how often they reuse the mud in my mud bath. Are you really worried about mud being dirty? Well, yeah. I mean, think of all the people who pee in pools. You know there's some a hole out there willing to SHT in the mud bath. If everything gets that relaxed, I'd be worried about brown stuff that's not mud being introduced. If you start feeling embarrassed by something from the past, say nope, not today in your head and let it go, move on. It's okay to take some feelings out like trash. Yes. Alternatively, no one cares or no one gives a shit. Doing that was the starting point of greatly improving my mental health and letting go of silly things that were causing me a great deal of anxiety over absolutely nothing. Related, whenever speaking negatively at yourself, I encourage you to tell yourself some version of, "Don't talk to my friend that way." I imagine most, if not all, of the negative things we say when we accost ourselves with are things we would never say to someone else that we love. Love this and we'll try it. And also remember, most things you're embarrassed by only you remember. Isn't it so weird that cringy moments from a decade ago can crop up in our heads, but I can't tell you what I ate 4 days ago, although obviously these moments have stronger emotional connections, making stronger memories, which makes them easier to recall than something unremarkable like chicken and rice, but I digress. I always think of it like this: I can definitely remember some really embarrassing moments about myself, but have a really hard time remembering anything super embarrassing about anyone else. Yup. I'll tell myself it's okay, I forgive you for cringe shit I did in the past. It helps a lot. Sometimes I spiral and there's no preventing it, but 95% of the time it works. Just think of that thought as a cloud blowing through the sky. Watch it pass and observe the next thought as a cloud as well. And again. You are now practicing mindfulness. I'll randomly hear a song or someone will say a word that triggers super embarrassing memories. I'll have to try this. I shall genuinely try this. One trick I use for realizing when I'm doing this is to say hello unwelcome thought. Treat the thought as if it's a person who has just walked into your living room. Say hello, and then dismiss it like you can go now, I'm not dealing with you today. Genuinely helps me. I read a book about letting go of intrusive thoughts, and this was the main method. Give the thought a name, acknowledge it, don't try to force it out, and once you do it a few times, you can find the bad thoughts just kind of dissipating rather quickly whenever they come up. When I worked in restaurants, and I knew I would be on my feet for long periods, I doubled up, wear 2 pairs of socks. A lot, but not all, of the fatigue you feel in your feet is due to the friction of them moving around in your shoes. By wearing an extra pair, the socks rub against each other, resulting in less fatigue. This is also a must for hiking or longer walks: 1 pair of thin socks, and 1 pair of thicker socks, preferably wool. The thin socks cling to your feet and wrap them up cozy. The thicker socks provide cushion, insulation, and wool socks will wick moisture away from your feet. It is much harder to develop blisters and hot spots when your skin is not rubbing against material repeatedly. Instead, the thin sock stays in the same place on your foot, and then the friction is between the 2 layers of material. If anybody is interested, they are called sock liners and they do work. I wore them during a 100-mile backpacking trip and they were great to have. I work 24-hour shifts weekly and it's not uncommon to be awake for most of it and on my feet. The best part of a 24 hours call is dinner and when I change my socks. Clean dry socks after a day on your feet is the best. In the army, a trick for road marches was to put on knee-high stockings, then your socks, then your boots. It reduced friction and lessened the chance of blisters. Like, nylon stockings? Serious question. Yes, nylon stockings. Put the stockings on, then your socks, then your boots. Now this is a trick for training purposes in 10-15K road marches that you knew about. I don't know anyone that did this when we were on patrol in Iraq, lol. Also, pull up your socks, literally. If you're feeling tired and footsore, sit down, take off your shoes, and tighten your socks. It works wonders. Are there any negatives to this? Why shouldn't I be doing this all day every day? You have to wash twice as many socks, but otherwise seems like an all-round plus. I work on uneven ground a lot and find it really helps having the second pair on. If your shoes are tight and it's cold, packing them with an extra layer of sock could cut off circulation, which will make your feet very cold even with the extra insulation. Double socks can bunch up and create pressure points a lot more easily than single socks. 2 layers of absorbent socks will take longer to fill up with sweat than one, but will feel worse when they finally get saturated. Having extra material between your foot and the inside of your shoe will reduce your ability to make quick, precise foot movements. All of these issues with double socking collide when it comes to ski boots, so definitely never double sock while skiing. If you liked the video, hit that subscribe button for more content. I post every day and I'll see you next time with more stories.